Hello and welcome to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League, live tonight from Okayama International Circuit. This 2.31 mile road course in Japan is the site of the season finale here in the summer season for this league. And we do have a good sized field out here at a very fun racetrack, and excited to have you with us here on V-Speed 2 to catch all the action. Drivers in qualifying at the moment here at Okayama. Tonight's race is going to be the classic 20-minute format, where we have a 20-minute heat and a 20-minute feature race, and the feature is going to be inverted from the heat, and the heat is going to be inverted from qualifying here. And this is the season finale, and we have quite the points battle coming into tonight's race. Let's go ahead and pull up those point standings for you. You can take a look at where your favorite drivers are in the standings coming into tonight's race. And we do have a championship battle up there. Brian Kennedy and Aaron Dietrich, who are currently 4th and 5th in the qualifying order at the moment, separated by just 1 point. And both drivers with 2 wins this season in the first 8 races. They both have 2 wins. Aaron Dietrich just goes to the top of the boards right now as we're talking about them. Bruce Wiley was your points leader coming into last week's race, but did not make the race. So he lost out a lot of ground to those 2, but we'll see once the drop week is calculated how things shake out. He could still have a shot at it here tonight at Okayama. Mike Nickham, David Curtis, Darren Treacle, Michael Pavolano, Matthew Gazenda, Colin Kornick, and Scott Kim make up the rest of your top 10 in the standings. And as you see down towards the bottom part of the top 10, quite a few points position battles, so there is stuff to play for here tonight in the season finale, even if they're not fighting for that championship. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch how things work out amongst the drivers. Let's pull up our qualifying times. We do have 14 drivers in the field this evening, one of the bigger fields we've had here in the summer season. In Okayama, one of those tracks you actually race at quite a bit on iRacing as you get started. We'll keep an eye on, let's see, the 270 of Aaron Dietrich. Currently is fastest, looking to try and improve that maybe on this lap. Looking pretty good so far. We'll see what the time looks like as he comes towards the start finish line into turn number 1, and not gonna improve on his best time, 1:35.73. Michael Pavolano currently second quick. Brian Kennedy, the other championship contender on pit road, looks like he's happy to start off in the top 5, or at least qualify in the top 5. Darren Treacle looking to go back-to-back after a really fantastic feature race last week. Steve Ficacci not with us here for the season finale, but he put up a great battle also last week. Just a few seconds remaining. We will have the track map up for the race broadcast, but do want to let you know your sponsors tonight are SEOMike and Duncan Racing Designs. You can learn more about them at the halfway break between the 2 events, as well as in the video description, or type in !DRD or !SEOMike to learn more about them in the chat. I do want to thank you for tuning in to V-Speed 2. My name is Adam Baker, and I will be your commentator here to catch all the action from Okayama as the field done with qualifying, getting ready to grid up. We will have the invert amongst the top 12, and it looks like Matthew Gazenda is going to be the beneficiary of that. He'll roll off from the front row in the first position. Let's go take a look at the race cars so you know who is who. Matthew Gazenda, that hang tight pink camo and carbon fiber machine, going to be rolling off from the front row. Perry Duncan of Duncan Racing Designs in a very flashy BMW M4 GT4 as well. He'll roll off from second. Peter Lanik going to roll off from third here tonight. Mike Nickham starting in the 4th position for the heat race tonight. David Curtis starting in 5th. Dean Tulane going to be shown in the 6th spot, the SEOMike machine. Darren Treacle in the Treacle Insurance Agency Number 70 going to roll off from 7th. 8th position, Brian Kennedy. Clint Fletcher showing as 9th, but I don't see him gridded up, so maybe starting from the pits. Bruce Wiley going to roll off from the 10th position. Michael Pavolano going off from the 11th spot. 12th tonight on the grid is going to be Aaron Dietrich looking to fight for that championship. Scott Kim rolling off from 13th in the heat race, and Colin Kortnick going to round out your field here at Okayama in the heat race. And who do you think is going to win tonight at Okayama as they make their way on to the front stretch to get things going? Wait for that green flag to fly. It's going to be Matthew Gazenda and Perry Duncan racing it up here towards turn number 1 as the whole field anticipating the start. Good jump by Darren Treacle, and we are already 3 or 4 wide in the middle of this field down into turn 1, a tight corner. We've got contact. That was, I believe, Mike Nickham making a little bit of contact right there, as I think we have a car off the racetrack. The 52 of Matthew Gazenda, your race leader. See what happened here. Lost the back end, cold tires. And luckily nobody runs into him, but backs it into the wall. We go back live. Out in front, it's Perry Duncan. The Duncan Racing Designs machine. Peter Lanik, Darren Treacle trading positions, or nearly trading positions there. David Curtis, Michael Pavolano, Mike Nickham, Dean Tulane, Brian Kennedy, Scott Kim, Bruce Wiley, your top 10. As Aaron Dietrich trying to find his way forward. They're battling right here for the last car in this lead pack. And remember, he was on the pole. And battling for the championship, needs the points here in the heat race. Brian Kennedy also fighting for that championship, currently runs in 7th side by side. Dean Tulane going to take that position away. Through the final corner, and there goes Mike Nickham around. Losing it under throttle at corner exit. And the top 3 have broken away. It's Perry Duncan, Peter Lanik, and Darren Treacle trying to track them down. Cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there, who you're rooting for. Love to see you guys supporting the drivers throughout the race. They race down this long back straightaway. Side by side further back, Scott Kim, Aaron Dietrich. This is 10th and 11th. We're hearing contact and possibly issues for Michael Pavolano, as he is damaged. Let's take a look at what happened to the 111. He makes contact with the 43 of David Curtis, was able to continue on and actually not lose any positions, but Pavolano falls to 11th. We go back live. Top 3 have broken away, and then it's David Curtis now slightly damaged in the 4th spot. Brian Kennedy has gained a couple positions here on this lap. He's up to 5th. And maybe gonna pounce down here in turn 1. No, not close enough. They'll head towards the left-hand turn number 2. He's putting a lot of pressure on David, trying to force a mistake out of the 43, and looks like he might have gone a little wide, but no, able to hold strong on exit. But you can see Brian just trying every which way to find an avenue around, and here comes Dean Tulane looks to the outside, but nothing doing there. So we've got about 5 cars under a blanket from 4th on back. Got Kim in front of Aaron Dietrich still, so really strong performance so far from the 7-Eleven. But Aaron Dietrich, you know, it's a matter of time before the speed kicks on in that 270. A little conservative start. Quite a technical track here, but a lot of fun. And really easy to push your car a little bit too hard. The corners sometimes seem more inviting than they actually are. As now down into the final couple of turns for lap number 3. Aaron Dietrich trying to set up here for this long front straightaway. Nobody making moves. Maybe further up. Bruce Wiley took a peek driver's right on Dean Tooling, but not strong enough through that part of the racetrack to make a move. The top 3 are gone. David Curtis is 6 seconds behind, but it is Darren Treacle, Peter Lanik, and Perry Duncan driving away in the BMW, the Aston Martin, and the Mercedes. All different manufacturers holding tight together. And there's a little bit of draft and slipstream on these long straightaways. As, oh man, down into the corner goes Peter Lanik. Almost made a move. I had to check up a little bit with Perry shutting the door, and then Darren Treacle actually made a tiny bit of contact. See if that next group of cars is able to close in at all on board with Peter Lanik. And it looks like Aaron Dietrich has finally gotten around Scott Kim further back, so move him up to 9th. And he has his sights set on Colin Kortnick as the next driver up the road, who's in this kind of 5-car pack, looking to become an 8-car pack. Pretty much single file for the moment. Michael Pavolano looking to gain some spots back. He's always a threat to win here in this league. Just, it's a matter of whether or not he gets collected in something. He's always fast, but very aggressive. As you can see, just so deep on the brakes right there behind Scott Kim, trying to close up whatever ground he can. As we have a battle for the race lead side by side. It's Peter Lanik to the inside, Perry Duncan on the outside. And Lanik is going to take the spot away. No challenge, really. Now the battle's for second. Perry Duncan. Wonder if he used his stuff up a little bit too soon. And here comes Treacle with the run on driver's right. He'll have the momentum, and he will clear for second. So Perry Duncan goes from first to third. And this second pack of race cars using the draft well now within 3.5 seconds of the top 3 drivers. So we could very well have almost 10 cars under a blanket for the battle in this heat race. But Lanik trying to hold off Darren Treacle, who's got a nice run down the front stretch. Not close enough to do anything with it. Perry Duncan starting to lose touch a little bit. He's going to become the link between these two groups after leading 4 laps out of the first 5. Starting to lose ground a little bit. Last lap he was about 1.5 seconds slower than Peter Lanik, and I'm not sure if he had a penalty or something, but fastest car on the track was Brian Kennedy in 5th, a 136.8 to the leader's 138.8. So that is how much time was lost making those passes. Some of these fast qualifiers starting to make their way forward finally. As Michael Pavolano, Scott Kim gonna go side by side. Really competitive field tonight in this 14 car lineup, so really good to see that. We've had really great races even with less than 10 cars at times, but it's awesome to see a few more guys make it out here for the season finale and get a little bit more track time before they'll jump into the GTEs in the fall. Bruce Wiley going on the defensive here with Colin Kortnick putting some pressure on across the line, 7th and 8th. Colin trying to keep it wound up on the high side of turn number 1, but not able to do so. Aaron Dietrich's finally caught up to the back bumper of the Porsche. And under 10 minutes left in this one, and it is Peter Lanek out in front of Darren Treacle. That Aston Martin looking very strong in the heat race. But man, look at all of those race cars come up over the peak of the hill. They'll race their way down towards the hairpin turn. David Curtis still hanging on to 4th after getting run into there by Michael Pavolano. So really nice job, even with the damage, to find some speed, and they are making ground up every lap. Last time it was only about a 1/10 of a second, but now they're in the draft of Perry Duncan, who's also getting draft from the top 2, so it's just a compounding effect. And these guys are really making up some good time. We'll see what the lap times are at the stripe. Another 3/10 knocked off right there. Fastest laps of the race for David Curtis and Brian Kennedy. And it is hard to pass. Somebody's really got to make a mistake and push the boundaries of the racetrack to make a pass on them. We'll start to see the tires wear out a little bit here in the last few minutes. Otherwise, these cars look pretty comfortable tonight. Not really many issues, just lap 1 and lap 2 incidents. But overall, very, very clean stuff in the heat race, which is great to see. Ooh, Colin Kortnick maybe going to take a shot at the position right there, going alongside Bruce Wiley. And not able to stay there. Here comes Aaron Dietrich, maybe going to try and set up a run off that corner, but no, not able to. Kortnick gets on the rumble strips a little too much, though. And again, top 3 pretty well together. It looks like Perry Duncan's found a little bit more pace in the number 8. Flashing lights from Darren Treacle trying to distract Peter Lanek. Oh, he goes down in the turn just a little too deep. Nearly knocked Lanek out of the way, but they stay nose to tail. And that time around, the top 3 actually slightly quicker than the second pack, but either way, David Curtis starting to make up ground now on this lap. And here goes Darren Treacle, makes the move for the race lead. Took it down there on the inside, made the pass. Now he's going to try and get away. You see the rest of those cars closing in the gap even tighter than it was just a moment ago. Here goes Peter Lanek, though, looking down driver's left. Is he gonna make contact? Perry Duncan goes wide on entry, trying to get a good run off, and he does just that. But the harder they battle up here amongst the top three, the closer the rest of those race cars are gonna get. And we have the top 9 within 4 seconds of each other. Keep an eye on Peter Lanik on the front straightaway here. See if he's able to get a good run through the final corner. Looks like Darren goes a little bit wide. We'll see how the slipstream works for him here. Good for about a half-tenth. Is it further back? That is Matthew Gazenda having problems. Let's take a look at the replay. Oh, yep, just going a little bit too wide, and good job to keep it out of the wall. Aaron Treacle, though, starting to get away. He's 8.5 tenths ahead. It's crunch time. That 70 car found a little bit more speed. He's broken away just enough that I don't think he's too concerned with Peter. Any one corner just a tiny bit off, that 12 car ready to pounce. Really like the paint scheme on that thing. The yellow splitter looks really nice. The blue and black, it's a good look on the Aston Martin. Almost a NASCAR style paint scheme. Just keeping an eye on these top two. We're gonna have about 3 laps to go. And Peter Lanik's starting to close back up. The gap just over a half second. And here we are on the front stretch. Lap times right there, so close, about a half tenth between these two. And look at him down into turn 1. Really nice job there to gain a car length. But it is so tough following someone around these flat corners and expecting your car to be able to keep up and keep all that downforce. That's the battle for your race lead. Peter Lanik's found a little bit of something here on this lap. Really nice job through that corner. And he is back at the bumper. And we've got a little bit more spacing going on behind. Looks like Aaron Dietrich's made up 2 positions. He's gotten by Colin Kortnick and Bruce Wiley. I'll tell you what, that turn right there is where Darren Treacle earns his keep. Really gains a lot of time in the off-camber one back there. I think Peter Lanik's a little bit better almost everywhere else. It's just that little section of the racetrack. Seems like Darren just able to keep more momentum in his race car. Now Peter, really good run through there. It's going to be 2 laps to go for Darren Treacle. Here we go back towards the start-finish line to complete lap number 11. Perry Duncan in that 3rd spot, hoping that those two get to battling a little bit more. He wants to get closer. Same goes for the rest of these cars behind. David Curtis, Brian Kennedy, and Dean Tulane kind of set themselves up as that second group of cars. Mike Nickham with problems right now falls to 13th. Not sure what happened to the 57. See if Peter Lanik's able to do anything on this side of the racetrack. The longest straightaway on the track. This is where Darren Treacle has been so good. Just back on the throttle so much sooner in the 70, but this time Peter Lanik Much better drive through that corner. Just needs to be close enough. And he is right about there, about a car length and a half. But maybe just not aggressive enough on the brakes. Darren Treacle just a little bit deeper. And they are really pushing now. Lap times have picked up to 136s with no draft. But, of course, everybody has a draft other than Darren Treacle. A little flash into the lights, a little returning the favor from Peter Lanek to Darren Treacle. What is Darren able to do on the final lap? White flag in the air. Lanek just needs to find something here. He's got to get a half second. I just don't know if it's possible. They're both really so even. A little slide there out of the corner. That may be just enough margin on this long straightaway. Lanek gonna have to find something here through the next set of corners. Darren Treacle, as he is most of the time, almost perfect. Through there, maintains the gap about 3/4 of a second. But no room for error still. 0.6 of a second as they race underneath the bridge. And the top two really going at it here. Just a couple more corners. Look at Peter Lanek try and close the gap. Gets the power down, but it's not going to be enough unless Darren Treacle makes a disastrous mistake into the final corner. And using all of the racetrack. And he is going to win the heat race here at Okayama. Off the track further back, Brian Kennedy. Championship leader. Losing about 4 spots out of the last corner. Let's take a look at what happened. Brian. A crucial moment in this race, really. Oh my goodness, just gets a little too far off and lucky to hang on to it as much as he did. Wow, that is quite the way to end that one. That is your top 10 finishers in the heat race. We'll go to the rest of the field as well. There's your top 14. Clint Fletcher did not start the race, but he'll be scored in the 14th position. And we are going to go to our halfway break. We'll be right back to interview. We're going to interview Mr. Darren Treacle when we come back. But let's hear from our sponsors for tonight's race. SEOMike helps businesses of all sizes achieve higher search engine rankings to drive more traffic and increase sales. Contact SEOMike today for a free website evaluation and quote. Mention this ad for 15% off your initial setup. SEOMike, marketing websites on the internet since 1997. Visit SEOMike.com. From the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, trading paints, or via email. And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count up to 37. Oh! No,
Rabbit. Where did he come from? Here comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back at the racetrack now for the halfway break, just coming to a close. Darren Treacle not in the Discord, so I'm not going to be able to interview him here before the start of race number 2, but we'll try and get a word in with him at the end of the night. We'll see where he ends up, if he gets a podium finish out of the final race. But we just don't have him here for the moment, and the clock has run down to 0, so we're about to get gridded up for race number 2. Not a long grid time at this track. So let's go through our starting grid for the feature race. It looks like Matthew Gazenda, who started on the front row for race number 1, is going to be starting out front as well in this one. Michael Pavolano, who we know is going to have a lot of speed here, he's going to roll off from the 2nd spot in this one. Rolling off from 3rd position, Scott Kim. 4th, Brian Kennedy, who needs the points here in the feature race. Colin Kortnick going to be rolling off from 5th. Bruce Wiley in 6th. Aaron Dietrich going to start in the 7th spot. Rolling off from 8th, it'll be Dean Tulane. Starting in 9th, it'll be David Curtis. Perry Duncan going to start from the 10th position here in the feature race. Peter Lanik going to roll off from the 11th spot. Starting in 12th, it'll be Darren Treacle. And rolling off from the 13th position, last car in the field, that's going to be Mike Nickum after issues in the last race. Your heat winner, that was Darren Treacle. He's got to come through the field and see if he can sweep tonight's events, as with the field working towards the start-finish line. Matthew Gazenda, Michael Pavolano in control, as we are about to get things going for the season finale feature race from Okayama. Green flag in the air. Oh, cars going off the track further back. That is Dean Tulane and Peter Lanik, the runner-up from race number 1, get collected in that one. And they are all the way at the back. Now we've got battling in the midfield. Aaron Dietrich already up to 5th. Brian Kennedy onto the podium for the moment here on lap 1. How about Scott Kim? We know he's got some speed here at Okayama tonight. And this is an opportunity for many drivers to take advantage of a little bit more speed on the opening lap. Darren Treacle already up 3 positions and trying to get more as he looks to the inside of Bruce Wiley. The issues there for Dean Tulane and Peter Lanik, though, they are well behind the rest of the field and likely out of contention fully in this feature race. What a bummer for the 12 machine, who was so good there in the heat race. As it is Matthew Gazenda doing a much better job here on this opening lap rather than spinning it around in turn number 2 like he did. He has made it all the way around and a little slow off the final corner, but should be enough as Aaron Dietrich's gone off the racetrack. Battling for the championship, trying to get back onto the track. What happened here? This is going to be crucial. Oh my goodness, really huge tank slap moment from the 270. Let's see if we can get a good view of this. Yeah, just too much of the curb, and wow, that, oh, he actually hit the wall. That car may have steering damage. He continues on. but that could be the championship sealed up. Brian Kennedy running third right now. Aaron Dietrich in 12th. He's going to have to hope for a lot of drivers to have problems. His battle for the race lead. Here comes Pavolano. Looking down to the inside, and Brian Kennedy right there to take advantage if things go wrong. Gazenda goes too deep in the corner. He's going to fall to third. Brian Kennedy moves into second. Championship leader had a moment in the final corner of the heat race, which gave him a slightly better starting spot, but cost him some points, and he's down about 7 or 8 points, I think, at this point in the night to Aaron Dietrich. But right now 10 positions up over the 270, and that might be enough for the championship, barring any mistakes. Aaron Dietrich 12.9 seconds behind. There are no cautions here in this league unless there's like a track blocker, and I don't see that happening here tonight, as competitive as the field has been. Michael Pavolano, the AMG Mercedes, out in front. Much better start to his race as well. Matthew Gazenda hanging tough in third. Moment there for Colin Kortnick. It looked like he got a little bit loose. Here comes David Curtis. And he's going to send it down in the corner. David Curtis, really bold move. They're going to be side by side, drag racing it down the backstretch. And the draft going to help out Colin Kortnick, even though he's in, I think, a slightly less powerful car. Able to hang right alongside down into this turn. It's tight right-hander, and the outer groove just not the way around there. So it does set you up nicely for the next corner, and now gonna get back alongside. No, backs out. David Curtis a little wide off the exit. Could be an opportunity. Here goes Colin down into the corner. Just not deep enough on the brakes, but he will pull alongside through the S's. And he's got another slide out of the corner. That will cost him the spot completely. Darren Treacle back in the 8th spot. Probably has lost a little bit too much ground, but hoping to find a little bit more pace as the race goes on. But again, these top three have just pulled away. And Scott Kim in 4th, kind of playing the role that David Curtis was playing in the last race, and now David right there behind him. See if Scott's able to reel in the top three, only about 3.5 seconds behind. But Michael Pavolano continuing to lead this field. Matthew Gazenda, a big wiggle there, trying to distract Brian Kennedy, I think. And Brian goes a bit wide on the turn entry. The tactics are working from the 52. And you know, Matthew Gazenda would love to get a podium finish if he can after the way that the last race went. Struggling a little bit with that handling, as we just had a change for the 5th position. Colin Kortnick seems to have gotten his legs underneath him now, and he is right on the back bumper of Scott Kim, the other Porsche in this field. Colin got around David there, a few corners back. Here comes Bruce Wiley, going to try and do the same into turn 1. Not able to, as Darren Treacle goes a little bit off track, trying to get alongside Bruce Wiley. And this is a tough part of the track to be side by side, and they won't be. Treacle takes the spot. Perry Duncan in 9th. Also had a very good run in the heat race, but just so hard to pass tonight. Aaron Dietrich just ran a 1:35.9, fastest car on the track. He has made up time, about a second and a half to the race leader. Looking to try and get a couple more positions. That could be the championship for him. If he can just finish up there, I think inside the top 10, it's going to be very close with Brian Kennedy, who currently runs second, and not a lot of pressure on him to go get that win. As I think we've had a problem further back here. It looks like Bruce Wiley's gone around. There's a spot for Aaron Dietrich. Let's take a look at what happened. Perry Duncan went to make a move, gets into the 67. They'll check up around. Now Bruce Wiley falls to 12th. Aaron Dietrich's now been able to close to within 3/4 of a second in these next few cars, and that could be the difference in a championship or not. You see Brian Kennedy's already picked up the pace a little bit here. A 10th quicker than Michael Pavolano. Approaching the halfway point in the feature race. Definitely closing in a little bit. Matthew Gazenda holding steady back here. He's putting down some great lap times at the moment. Third or fourth quick of anyone on the track. So really doing a fantastic job in this third spot. As the two Porsches race it up behind him, Scott Kim, Colin Kortnick going at it 4th and 5th. And Colin really aggressive, almost pulled down alongside in that corner. We'll see how they do off the exit of the final couple of turns. We're going to keep an eye on Aaron Dietrich, who continues to show good pace back here in 11th, fighting for this championship. Halfway right now, 10 minutes down, 10 minutes to go. And nice run out of turn number 1. Now trying to set up for the next turn. He's going to be able to pull alongside Perry Duncan. As the two will race down into the corner. It looks like Aaron should be able to keep the momentum on the top side, but the longer they stay side by side like that, the slower they'll be. It probably makes more sense for Perry to jump in and kind of use the draft to his advantage. And he does just that. So Aaron Dietrich up to 10th, but here goes Perry Duncan now going to look back down to the inside, says not so quick, and he dives it in there. Aaron able to hold on to the spot for the moment. These two pretty equal on pace, and they have just lost a boatload of time to the next few cars up the road. That's Dean Tulane in 9th. He's having a battle with Mike Nickum at the moment, the 57. Better race so far than the heat race. He's running in the 8th position. Peter Lanik has taken it behind the wall. We've got a side-by-side fight for 5th. Down into turn 1, Kortnick early on the brakes right there. Looks like David Curtis is going to be able to take the position and move himself into the top 5. Darren Treacle started 12th up to 7th. Colin Kortnick continues to take a different approach to that corner. The Porsche looks like he can actually make it stick down there. Well, all this is going on. Michael Pavolano smooth sailing out in front, 7 minutes 45 seconds left in this race, and he's got a 1.2 second lead over Brian Kennedy. And issues for Mike Nickum and David Curtis. That's 2 spots for Aaron Dietrich. Let's go back and take a look at what happened here. Looking at Mike Nickum. Oh, David Curtis was already around, so something with David. You can get a better view of this. Oh, he gets turned by Colin. Another look at this. Goes for the move and yeah, just hooks him. Sends the 43 around. Oh man, and then yeah, really had to take evasive maneuvers there, did Mike Nickum. Actually didn't lose any positions overall. So Aaron Dietrich right there behind him needs probably 1 or 2 more spots. We'll have to see how the drop weeks work out. And then I will try and pull up the points at the end of the race and see who is crowned the champion. It's either going to be Brian Kennedy, Bruce Wiley, or Aaron Dietrich. I'm not sure about Bruce, though. He's not had the night that I'm sure he's been looking for in the season finale after actually being your points leader going into last week's race, but missed that race and I think missed his shot at the championship pretty much. Man, is it going to come down to the wire or what? How about Michael Pavolano, though? He's not concerned about the championship battle. He just wants that race win. Going back to 4 laps to go. And we are pretty well spaced out, other than, I think, Aaron Dietrich and Mike Nickum, and also Dean Tooley. These cars pretty close together here out of the final corner. Aaron closing in. Mike Nickum with maybe some sand still left on those tires. Looking at lap times, fastest car is David Curtis, Aaron Dietrich, Bruce Wiley, your fastest cars last time around. Bruce Wiley, Perry Duncan going to be side by side down the backstretch. Looks like give it to Bruce to move back into the top 10. Going to keep an eye on this battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th. These are the closest on track, and really, I think the most significant battle, because Aaron Dietrich trying to fight for the championship, and he's going to need every single point he can get coming in to this one, just 1 point back. We'll pull up the point standings again to see how they came into the night. Brian Kennedy running 2nd. Aaron Dietrich running in 9th. Aaron has outperformed the 77 in both qualifying and in the heat race, so he's gotten more points in both of those. Right now, though, down by about 7 spots. It might come down to like a tiebreaker before it's all said and done here tonight at Okayama for the championship in the summer season. And it is coming down to the wire. This is going to be for the final few points. Michael Pavolano looks to be just cruising along. He has led 9 of the first 10 laps. Matthew Gazenda led the other lap. He has faded a little bit back in the third spot, about 4.6 seconds behind. Scott Kim still battling with Colin Kortenick. These two have really been going at it throughout the race. Looks like Brian Kennedy picked up a little bit of time over the last few corners. He's now under 1 second behind. Make that just about 0.8 of a second. He sees the urgency. He knows Aaron has gained some spots back. And really wants to go out here and win this race and pretty much ensure himself a championship. Scott Kim, Colin Kortenick side by side. Oh, and Colin goes way off the racetrack. Gonna be slow through the next little bit. Here comes Darren Treacle. Gonna get to the outside. Colin deep into the turn, defensive line. As they make a little bit of contact on exit. They got lucky that the 32 did not get hooked around. We're going to be coming back to the white flag, and the battle for the race lead has tightened up. It's Michael Pavolano trying to hang on. He's led so much of this race. It's been a while since he's been to victory lane here. Brian Kennedy, 2 wins this season, trying to get his 3rd and the championship. His lap on the last lap like this one, I mean, he is gonna be there. But let's see how he does through the final corner, what kind of a run he can get. Pavolano, really nice job there. White flag gonna be coming out. And there it is, white flag in the air. Final lap for Michael Pavolano. Brian Kennedy fighting for the win. Further back, Aaron Dietrich, he's trying to make the move on Mike Nickum. It's gonna be down into turn 1. Contact. Nickum goes around. Aaron Dietrich checks up. And he gets back rolling, but that's all the points he'll be able to get unless he gives all those positions back. But not sure if there's gonna be any kind of a penalty. We're gonna be coming to the checkered flag this time. About a half lap to go. Look at Brian Kennedy. He's closed it up now, just about 2 car lengths as they race down the backstretch. Pavolano defensive, trying to break the draft. Brian Kennedy a little deep in that turn. Back to the throttle nicely though. He is right there. Three more corners to get it done at Okayama. What's going to happen? Goes deep in the braking zone. Pavolano trying to hold him off. Oh, maybe a little too much in that corner, but really nice run on the exit. It's going to come down to the last 2 turns. In the last race of the season, Michael Pavolano solid through the final 2 corners. He's going to get it done at Okayama and go to victory lane. Brian Kennedy going to finish in 2nd, going to be so close in the championship. Matthew Gazenda, he'll finish in 3rd. And make up your podium spots. Scott Kim 4th, Colin Kortenick 5th, Darren Treacle in 6th. Dean Tulane, he'll finish 7th. Aaron Dietrich gonna come across the line in 8th. As they all pile in to turn number 1, as is tradition here in the league. What a race as Michael Pavolano sits parked in the graveyard at the end here. We're gonna go to our sponsor commercials real quickly, and we're going to come back with the interviews for the top 3 and Darren Treacle as well from his heat race win. We'll see how the championship shakes out. If the points are updated at that moment, we will announce the winner of the championship, at least according to the season standings that we have available to us. So don't go anywhere. SEOMike helps businesses of all sizes achieve higher search engine rankings to drive more traffic and increase sales. Contact SEOMike today for a free website evaluation and quote. Mention this ad for 15% off your initial setup. SEOMike, marketing websites on the internet since 1997. Visit SEOMike.com. From the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, trading paints, or via email. And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Slack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back at the racetrack now, going to be pulling in your race winner here. That is Michael Pavolano. What a drive by him here to hold off a hard-charging Brian Kennedy. Let's see if we can get him in to the booth. Mike Pavolano, this is Adam in the VC booth. You got a copy?
Copy, Adam.
Hey, man. Well, quite an eventful final few laps there. You saw Brian closing in, and you had dominated the race to that point, but you held him off. What was that like, racing with him and getting that victory here to close the season?
Oh, it feels great to get, I guess a win in the last race of the season. Brian's a great driver, and, I was just a lot of pressure that he was putting on, and I think towards the end I just pushed it too hard that my tires were off, and Brian mentioned he was smelling blood towards the end there, so good thing I held on it. But yeah, I mean, it was a great race.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun to watch you hold him off there, as you could definitely tell he was closing in. You get your first feature race win of the season, and we're going to be moving to the GTE machines in the fall. Do you prefer those over these GT4 machines, or how are you feeling about going into the fall season?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the track. The GTEs takes a while to get used to, but once you get used to it, they're fun cars to drive. So we'll see. I think the track lineup for next year is going to be a little bit tricky for the GTEs, but I guess that's what our league does, so that it helps us with our racecraft. So we're looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Always, a challenging set of races, and you guys always put on a great show for us. You take the win here at Okayama to close things out. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to the organizers, Scott, Brian, Dean, and to everybody that comes out week in and week out. I mean, it's a fun group of guys, and I think you probably notice every season everybody's getting better. So just want to thank everybody that shows up every week.
Yeah, definitely fun to see the field get closer and closer and more competitive each and every race. And you've always got speed out there, though, in that machine. So great to see you get back to victory lane, and we'll catch you in a couple of months here as we get the fall season back started.
Great. Yeah, thanks, and thanks, Adam, for the season broadcast. Truly appreciate it.
Of course, and thank you for the time here after this one. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Mike Pavolano, race winner here tonight at Okayama. We're going to go to second place finisher, and we do have the points updated, at least according to iRacing. So I'm going to go off of that for now. The league can correct me, and we'll make an announcement about that if that is the case. But Brian Kennedy going to lose the championship by 1 point after tonight's race, at least based on the standings that I'm able to see. Aaron Dietrich ended up 252 points, Brian Kennedy 251. We're going to talk to him now. Second place finisher, Brian Kennedy. This is Adam in the VC booth. You got a copy?
Hey Adam, I got a copy.
Hey Brian, well you gave Mike an incredible run for the money there at the end of this one. You had your car right alongside there for a few moments in the final lap, but not quite enough to get it done. You come home second, and we just took a look at the point standings. You came in with a 1 point lead coming into tonight's race, and you will leave with a 1 point deficit to Aaron Dietrich to come home second in the standings. So unfortunate, second in the race and in the championship, but man, you put on a good show for us. Just describe your night with the heat race going the way it did, and the feature race.
Oh yeah, that's well, let me congratulate Aaron. Again, extremely close, exciting finish to the season. Aaron's a great driver, so I love the competition. The winning, it would be nice, but it's just a fun season. And tonight was just intense. Both races, I don't think I was ever more than a second and a half behind someone, and following close. A lot of Dave Curtis in the first race, who drove great, and then I really wanted to get him in that last turn of the first race, and went off. I don't know if that cost me the championship, but you never know, because with the reverse grid, I started further ahead the second race than I would have if I had finished behind Dave, and so who knows? But yeah, that was a painful mistake. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Fun season, great night.
It definitely made things interesting, because I think at that point you were, it would have been pretty tight, going into the feature. But yeah, ultimately you just come up 1 point short. Probably lost those points there, but really Aaron made the same mistake on the opening laps of the feature race, and nearly cost himself as well. So really was a battle right down to the final moments of this one.
For sure.
But we're moving to the GTE machines in the fall. How do you feel about going to those, and how do those compare to the GT4s for you?
I used to like them a lot better before they kind of upgraded the physics on the GT4s. Now the GT4s don't understeer as much and handle curves better and all that. So we'll see. I mean, I like the extra power. I like that there's no ABS. Kind of makes it a little more challenging to drive. So we'll see. I guess there was a little discussion going on in chat after the race that maybe we wouldn't go to GTEs. So we'll see if that holds. But people were really enjoying the GT4s. So.
Yeah, these always put on a great show. I think the slower speeds mean that it can be pretty competitive, and the field is a little bit tighter than we might see in the higher speed cars. But man, you were always up at the front this season, 2 wins, and competing for a lot more wins. You come home second in the race, second in the championship. Anybody want to give a shout out to for tonight's race at Okayama?
Yeah, shout out to Scott and the stewards that help run the league. We didn't have a huge turnout in the summer, but it's still tons of fun. And then our sponsors, SEOMike and Duncan Racing Designs, and lastly V-Speed. Thanks for the broadcast.
Yes, sir, and thanks for the time here, and congrats on a great run tonight, and really made the race very interesting in the closing moments and put on a good show for us. But we'll catch you in a couple months in the GTEs.
All right, see you, Adam.
All right, thanks. Second place finisher, second in the championship after taking the points lead after the last race. Going to come up 1 point short here tonight in what was an incredibly tight championship battle. We'll go to Aaron Dietrich later on in this one. We're going to go to third place finisher here. A really great improvement from race number 1. Matt, this is Adam in the VC booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing, Adam?
Hey, pretty good, man. You finish up here on the podium, and man, what an improvement from the heat race to the feature race. You start on the pole on both of them, But man, the results so much different here. What did you learn from that first race and making those mistakes that helped you keep up with the top two?
Well, I learned how to get around turn 2 at the start, so that was a big help. I really kind of just messed it up at the start, and then I was actually doing pretty good laps trying to catch up with Scott, and I think I can't remember who he was racing with at the Mike. And so, the first race I was just kind of getting into a groove in the BMW, and for the second race I just made sure I was like really clean at the start, didn't make the same mistake. I knew Mike and Brian were going to come by because they're so quick, and they were in the back for the same reason that I was from race 1. So, I made a little bit of a bobble. They got by, and after that, I just was able to kind of keep with them for a while. Eventually, I lost the toe a little bit on them, but I was well clear of the guys behind us and just turning in some good laps. So it was fun. I don't think I've ever concentrated so hard on a race for 20 minutes, but everybody was like very quiet. Everybody was. I think everybody knows this track really well. So even qualifying, the difference between first to 12th was not that much compared to other tracks. 2 or 3 seconds difference. In this one, everybody was within a second. So.
Yeah, it definitely was a really competitive and tight field, and we saw, in the first race, everybody, I think the top 9 were all within about 3 or 4 seconds in the middle of the race. And I'm like, wow, it's not usually how it goes. Almost like a super speedway NASCAR race, the way that everybody was, single filed out and drafting. And but man, what an exciting night and a great way to close out the season. We go to the GTEs next season. How do you feel about going to those?
I'm okay with the GTs. They're a lot faster than what I'm used to, so it'll be we've done a season before, so it'll be interesting to see if I stick with the BMW this time or if I try one of the other ones. So a little apprehensive, but I did pretty well with the GT3s when we were doing that, so I'm excited to try something different again. That's part of the reason why I'm in the league. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely love the variety and trying out the different skill sets and the different types of racing that comes with each of those different cars. But great finish here tonight in the season finale. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, definitely give a shout out to Perry for sponsoring the league. I was running the BMW because he did a paint job for me, and I hadn't used the car all season, so I wanted to show that off. And then also thanks to Scott and the guys for running the league. Love the league, so thanks to those guys, and thanks to V2 for covering us too. So
awesome, Matt. Well, congrats on a great way to close out the season, and we will catch you in the GTEs in a couple of months.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
All right. That's Matt Gazenda. Let's go to we'll go to Darren Treacle next. Driver who won the heat race. We're going to do a lot of interviews since it's our final race of the season. Darren Treacle, this is Adam in the VC booth. You got a copy?
I do, Adam. How are you, sir?
Well, pretty good, man, and tough sledding out there to try to make it through the field in the feature race for you, but you get the heat win after a really competitive battle amongst the top 3. You pull away in the final moments, holding off Peter Lanik there in the last couple laps. But describe your night here at Okayama in the season finale.
Yeah, I was pleased. Okayama is definitely not my best track. I just, for whatever reason, those really slow, sharp corners just get me for some reason. But I was like, if I'm up here and towards the front, hopefully I can put on a good fight. And it took me a little while to get by Peter, and I can't remember who the other person was. Was that? Can't remember who the other.
I think it was Perry.
Perry, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. And I was like, well, once I got by them, I was like, maybe I can hold them off if the tires start to go or something to that effect, because you can defend pretty good on this track and usually keep the person behind you. So yeah, I was very pleased with the heat win, and I knew that I knew the feature was going to be damn near impossible for me to move up to the front, starting from the back. Everybody's running an equal pace, pretty similar pace. There's a few guys that were a little quicker, but it's a hard track to pass on either way. And these GT4 cars seem to be pretty equal. I don't know, the Mercedes seemed to be a little tough in the tight stuff, um, whereas the Porsche seemed to be pretty good, really good in the tight stuff. But it was good. It was fun.
Yeah, it's that big heavy V8 up front in these versus the little the Caymans with the mid-engine, right? Probably the balance there, but definitely
It is.
Yeah.
It's a trade-off for me because I enjoy the sound of the AMG.
Oh yeah, me
So,
too.
It's like if I may not be the fastest, but I'm probably like the best sounding car out there.
That's how I see it too. That's one of my favorite ones to drive in this classic car for sure. But man, you had a great season. I know you didn't make all the races, but you're always out here competing with these guys, and sometimes just putting a whooping on them too. But we go to the GTEs next season. How do you feel about going to those?
I like the GTEs. I can't tell you the last time that I've run a GTE, so it will take a little while to get used to it again. But I do like the GTEs. The nannies go away. There's no ABS. I think there is some traction control, maybe, but I can't remember. There's a little more downforce. So I like that car. I hope we run at some tracks that really complement the car with the downforce and stuff. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, always a good time. Watching you guys duel it out here on in all these different kinds of cars. Really fun. Different skill sets come out and just different types of racing displayed here, and a lot of different talents amongst these drivers. So the field is getting more and more competitive. It's been a lot of fun to watch you still go out there and compete each and every week. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to for the heat win tonight and this season?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to, I believe is it Perry Duncan Designs,
Yep.
And I believe SEOMike, and then the usual, you for putting on the broadcast, and Scott for putting this together, and then everybody. Tonight was a good night. It was a good showing for everybody for showing up, and then my office, Treacle Insurance Agency. Hopefully, we get a good turnout in the fall. I'm going to try to run a little more often. I got the SEC National Championships coming up at the end of September, so I'll be a little busy getting ready for that. But after that, I'm hoping to get in a little more regularly. Fall's coming, days getting shorter.
Yep.
So I can't come home and cut grass. So I guess I'll have to iRace.
Yeah, and it's not a bad compromise.
Not a bad compromise.
Yeah. All right, Darren. Well, thanks for the time here, and congrats on a great season. And we'll catch you in the fall.
Sounds great. Thanks, Adam. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Huh?
That is Darren Treacle. Always a pleasure to talk to. Let's go to Aaron Dietrich, as he was piled in there to the turn one mayhem. Let's pull him in. He's going to be your champion here in the summer season. Aaron Dietrich, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy.
Hey, Adam.
Well, Aaron, you probably felt in the feature race you had thrown away the championship, but man, you're able to squeeze it out by just 1 point. And it came down to the final moments in this one, didn't it? Just it was really intense to watch from a broadcast perspective. But man, just describe your night coming in with that deficit, you get in the pole, and just kind of going through these two races.
Yeah, that was a fun race. I was hoping that was a good one for you to commentate, but yeah, for sure I had good pace here and almost didn't qualify at the top spot. I was struggling. I think the track was just a little hot, so in the M4 I like to understeer on this track. But once I got that under grips and got the pole, I was feeling more comfortable. Had a decent first race, and then of course that second race we were all chatting it up at the first lap and kind of joking, and just lost focus and went off the track. So fortunately unfortunately for him, sorry to say that, but fortunately he had that issue in the first race and spun off the track, and man, I guess I just barely squeaked by, huh?
Yeah, it's interesting. You guys had issues on the same part of the track in different races, and it came down to 1 point between you two. It's just right down to the last lap with you going down into turn one, making the pass there to get that point. That was the tiebreaker right there. But and champion.
Yeah, and, well, I was gonna say that entire second race, that hitting the wall left me with a little bit of a cockeyed steering wheel too with the alignment. So I thought there was no way I'm gonna be able to make up any pace or any spots on anybody, and kind of picked a few off, and I guess did just exactly what I needed.
Yep, just got the exact amount of points that you needed, and the pole also really helped, I would think, here too, right? Just get those few points over Brian in the qualifying was just enough to do that as well. But man, GT4 cars going to be done here this season. We're going to the GTEs next season. How do you feel about going to those after racing in these?
Yeah, kind of funny. Last week I learned from one of the guys, Steve Picacci, that I wasn't braking appropriately. So I was threshold braking, and then this race I was just putting it into the floor. It's apparently the thing to do with ABS now with iRacing. So I feel like it was a bit of a detriment to my skills with the non-ABS car. So I'll have to get some practice in. But yeah, I love that M8 car. It's gonna be fun, and should have plenty of guys out. They're gonna have some really good pace, so it should be a great season.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it, and hopefully a little better turnout. I know we still had some great races, even with the small fields, and tonight no exception to that. Really exciting stuff. But man, you got 2 wins on the season, and also you get the championship. Anybody want to give a shout out to for all of that and for this season?
Oh yeah, for sure. So obviously the sponsors, Perry, with DRD, keeping us looking good, SEOMike, and then to you doing the broadcast. It's always a fun ritual of mine in Friday mornings to have a coffee and watch the replay. So thanks for making an entertaining broadcast for us so we can all go back and watch it.
Yes, sir. And thanks for putting on exciting races so the broadcast can be entertaining, because yeah, you know, with 8 cars on the field, it's no guarantee that that we're gonna have good races. But man,
Yeah.
definitely always a pleasure to broadcast with you guys. And congrats on the championship, and we'll see if you can repeat in the GTEs in a couple of months. And yeah, just congrats again.
All right, yeah, appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
All right, we'll catch you then. Aaron Dietrich, champion here. We're gonna just show him as the winner. Michael Pavolano wins the feature. Aaron Dietrich wins the championship. So congrats to both of them. We're gonna go now to the full race results here in the feature race. Michael Pavolano taking the victory. Brian Kennedy gonna finish in the 2nd spot. Matthew Gazendov, he'll finish in 3rd. Great recovery after a very rough opening race. Scott Kim gonna come home in 4th. Really good way for him to end the season as well. Colin Kortnick, he'll finish 5th. Darren Treacle finishes in 6th. Dean Tulane going to finish in 7th. Aaron Dietrich, champion and 8th place finisher in the feature after capturing the pole in a good solid heat race. Bruce Wiley, he'll finish in 9th. 10th tonight was David Curtis. Finishing in 11th, it was Perry Duncan. 12th, Mike Nickham. 13th, Peter Lanik. And 14th was Clint Fletcher. Here tonight, did not take the field, but excited to see him back in the GTEs in a couple of months. And we do want to thank you all for tuning in here tonight from Okayama for the season finale in the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. Appreciate every single one of you tuning in each week here on VSpeed 2. Wouldn't be possible without the sponsors as well, SEOMike and Duncan Racing Designs. Make sure to check them out in the video description. And also, you can go back to the race replay and check out their ads throughout the race. So we are off until the next season here on Thursday nights, but Friday nights you can catch the Champion Motorsports Friday Night Trucks. That's going to be back next week, I believe. It's going to be next week. We'll have to double check their schedule, but I believe they come back on the 18th. So I think that broadcast already scheduled. You'll catch that race next. So it'll be a little bit quiet here on VSpeed 2, but make sure to check out the main channel with the VRX World Cup on Friday nights, and then Saturday nights with the Saturday Night Racing League, always going on here throughout the summer. You can also find us on VSpeed Racing Network, where we've got a few new leagues going on over there. So make sure to check out all of the different offerings that we have with the VSpeed family of networks. And we do thank you again for supporting us, and want to thank the league for letting us do this once again. Everyone have a great night.